Hello, children of the damned. Today's video is, self-modification precautions. I do not suggest you self-modify, and I am not responsible for people who get really, really hurt self-modifying. But if you're like me and are going to do it anyway, here are some precautions that you have to take. First off, you want to disinfect your hands really well with alcohol. Then you want to disinfect the instrument you're modifying with like alcohol or iodine. Then you want to disinfect the area you're modifying with alcohol or iodine. And once you're done modifying, you want to put ointment and a band-aid. You don't have to put a band-aid. The band-aid's optional, but it keeps it from getting a nasty infection if you put a band-aid on it. You want to put a band-aid on whatever it is you modified. If you can put a band-aid on it. If you're like piercing your ears or whatever, you can't really put a band-aid on that. But yeah, if you also, you want to make sure you change your dressings regularly. So because if you don't change your dressings regularly, you could get an infection, and you want to make sure your modification stays really, really clean, and like really, really, especially when it's in its raw stage, like when it still hurts real bad and is still like bloody and swollen and gross. You want to make sure you change your dressings regularly and keep ointments on it, and every once in a while you want to pour alcohol or peroxide over it, and then just make sure it stays really, really clean until it scabs over. But it has to be really, really scabbed and in its healing stage. When it's scabbed and hurts not very much, then you can kind of do whatever. But when it's still in its raw, painful stage, you want to make sure it stays really, really clean. So, as I said, I'm not liable for anyone who gets a nasty infection or hurts themselves really badly modifying. But yeah, if you're going to self-modify like I do, make sure you take all sorts of precautions and keep everything really, really clean and sanitized. And I suggest like sanitizing whatever you're modifying with alcohol and fire. First, you're going to want to do the fire, let it cool off. Then you have to let it cool off because you don't want to start a fire. Then you pour alcohol on it and then like dry it off with whatever. Sometimes, depending on the metal you're using to modify with, whether like it'll turn the metal rainbowy, like it'll make it look like a rainbow, and that's okay. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be like, what the fuck, why did my like X-Acto knife turn into a rainbow? Don't worry about that. That'll only happen if you use fire to fucking, like, yeah. So, as I'm saying, as I said, you really, 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 really should not self-modify. If you want a body mod, go to a shop. Go to a shop. If you want a scarification, go to a shop. If you want a piercing, go to a shop. If you want a tattoo, go to a shop. Seriously, you don't want to self-modify. But if you don't listen, and if you don't give a fuck, and you do self-modify, take all the precautions you can. And for like the 1000th time, I am not liable for anyone who gets hurt self-modifying, because I'm not suggesting you self-modify, but if you feel desperate for a modification, and if you want one really bad, and you are an idiot fuckface like me, take all the precautions you can, sanitize everything, clean up after yourself, make sure everything is clean and tidy and sanitized, and you take every precaution to say, like, stop infection. So yeah, and you want to use medical grade shit to sanitize with. You want to use real ointment. You want to use real alcohol, real rubbing alcohol, and you want to use real iodine. No using, like, whiskey or bourbon or fucking, like, tequila to disinfect your wounds. Seriously, that's stupid. If you're going to self-modify, which I'm not saying you should, but if you're going to, use real medical grade disinfectants. Okay, I have said all my shit. Don't be an idiot like me, and don't self-modify. Okay, I'm done. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.